Hey y'all, as you can tell, this video is all about plants, gardening, and landscaping. I wanted to start off this video by showing y'all a few of the faux flowers that I've been using on my front porch to just find a spot for them with the upcoming warm weather on the way. It's already kind of started here in Texas. We've had beautiful weather all week. It's been great, a nice change from all the rain that we had. I know for me, I've just been soaking up all the sun. So I had these little sunflowers just laying around, and then I also had this basket that I used to have a pothos plant in. So I just put those in there, and I've got them on my front steps. And I really want to paint my brick steps here a dark brown to match my front door and my shutters in the front of my house. A lot of you suggested for me to do that, so I think that they'll pop off of there really good. And then I went ahead and put my spring/summer wreath up. It is so vibrant and so pretty. You can definitely see it from the road pretty good. I love it against the dark brown color. So I wanted to tell y'all that starting off with all of this landscape project that I've got going on, I had a couple shade plants over here that needed rescuing. So when we first moved into this house, I tried to plant a couple of shade required bushes in this area because it barely sees the sun. It might see the morning sun for an hour or two, maybe even that. But most of the time, the really big oak trees I have in front of my house, they shade almost everything up here. So even these little shade bushes, you can see that they're not dead, but they obviously have not grown. And I just wanted to see if I could save them just because they looked alive still to me. The leaves on them, are changing colors and stuff. So I think I can just replant them, but I'm going to put them in a container first and just see if I can kind of bring them back to life a little bit and just kind of nurture them some. So that's what I'm doing. I'm digging those up. And then this area right here by my front door is just such an eyesore to me. And it has damaged our curb appeal for our house for a while. We just kind of neglected the front, of the house and like the landscaping, because last summer our main project was Josh building our deck in the back. It took him working on that almost every weekend over the summer and me helping him when I could. So we were just occupied and we didn't have time to work on stuff like this. So I grabbed a few of these bulbs and I decided that they look like they have a lot of coverage because of how big the leaves are. So I wanted to see if I could make those, grow too. I'm just trying to really just kind of get my feet wet with all of this and just see what grows best at my house and what doesn't. So I read mixed reviews on these bulbs. Some people said that they grew well. Some said none of them sprouted at all. So I'm like, just seeing. I'm going to put some in a container and then I'm going to put some in the ground, because if they work out and they do well, I have a huge shady area beside our wood deck in the back that also needs a lot of coverage because nothing grows there. So that's what I was doing with that container. I'm just planting those. And then Josh is putting some brown mulch. Lowe's had mulch on sale. We got several bags of mulch and he's just covering this area here that just has absolutely nothing in it, and nothing would ever grow here anyways because there's like concrete and stuff mixed in. So that's what he's doing. Okay, so here's how it looks now. Josh put all of this in last night, and then we started working over here. I did pressure wash this yesterday, by the way. I know you can't tell, but this concrete is over 70 years old. So Anyways, I'm assuming it is because the house was built in the 50s, so I'm assuming all of this was laid at the same time. But we also did this late last night when it got dark. Well, I'll say late. It wasn't late, but you know, it was already dark, so I didn't film it. I just laid the bricks there to kind of show Josh where I wanted us to lay all the concrete. And then we'd moved our bird bath. We had some family that was just going to get rid of this bird bath and take it to the dump. So me and Josh took it. And this is honestly the perfect spot for it, because this little area just needed something so bad. And because we don't have gutters, I'm hoping that it will also kind of catch the heavy rainfall that comes out of this corner here and keep it from just really messing up the mulch. So, you know, this is this is what we're working with on a budget. So I went and got some landscaping edging stones, and I'm gonna dig me a little trench here around this mulch, and I'm gonna start laying that. So when I was getting the stones for the border or wall, whatever you want to call it, retaining wall, I did find this little cedar box type of planter on the clearance. I think it was only like $19.99. And so I thought, man, that'll look really good over there to, you know, bring, like, pop off of the white of the house and just bring a little color to the area. So I grabbed that, and then I just got a very pretty green fern. It's so good looking, the fern, that it almost looks fake, like up close. But a fern is pretty easy for me to keep alive, and I can just kind of move it around if it needs a little sun. But for the most part, those are pretty hard to kill. So I thought that was a good idea to just bring some color to this spot and put a lot of coverage, you know, like it'll take up a whole lot of space. So now I'm just digging at my little trench, and let me just disclaimer here, y'all, I am not a landscape professional, and I am not doing this professionally. This is just me trying to make my yard look better without spending $1,000. So I'm digging the trench, and I'm going to try to smooth it out best I can for these stones. Now, the professional way to do this would be to level it out, get your leveler and use some string for, lines or whatever. And also you can lay sand to really flatten it out and just make like a good foundation, but I ain't doing all that. So I'm just digging me a trench. That way it will at least be kind of in the ground. And then I was just using this little kid-sized hoe to flatten it a little bit the best I can. And I'm gonna lay 2 layers of these stones down. And I wanted to share with y'all a tip that I found out before I did this. I did a little bit of research and watched a couple of videos, but I would have not known this if I hadn't watched the videos. And I think that it kind of makes it look better when you're laying these stones and starting, even with the first layer, the goal to make it look like a really nice wall is that you want the least amount of cracks in between them as possible. So you kind of have to flip them around back and forth the other way to kind of make them all look more flush. This just gives, look at the wind. Yeah, this just gives it more of an appearance of like a really full wall, like without all the cracks in between. It's just more aesthetic that way. So I had to flip them around and adjust them as needed. So you can chisel them like on the ends if needed to get like a more perfect fit. But of course I was not doing that. So I actually ran out of bricks for my second layer on top, and I ended up having to go back to Lowe's to get more. I wanted to share these flowers with y'all because I feel like they are the perfect spring flower. They have the daintiest little flower with the perfect like spring pink, yellow, and green colors in them. And they're like a mini petunia. They're a trailing flower. I will put the name of them on the screen just so I can get the exact name of them for y'all. But I saw them and I was like, I have got to have those. They were so pretty. And they had a little bit too much root for that one pot. So I just switched them and that little shade plant that I did earlier and traded the pots for those. And they are just, look at them. They're just so pretty. Okay, now let's talk gardening. So here's the thing. It's been a long time since I've grown some vegetables, but I have learned that a lot of mistakes made for beginners in gardening is that they get so many plants, half the stuff they don't even eat. So I decided to start small, and I got this green little, just kind of rectangular planter box at Lowe's, and I got some green bell pepper, some of the big boy tomatoes because I really want those for sandwiches and burgers and stuff. And then I got some celebrity tomatoes. I decided to start those in this box and just see how everything does. And then if they grow well and I like them, I might go get some more and possibly build our own raised beds with some wood, because I know that me and Josh could do that within like 30 minutes. But I just wanted to, I just wanted to see, like, I don't want to just splurge and just spend a lot of money if my plants are not even going to do well. So I'm just trying to see how these do. That's why I went ahead and got the ones that were already sprouted and growing. And I feel like they have enough room in this little box here. It's just a plastic box, and I went with green because I thought black, it might get too hot. So I think it's going to work out. My backyard has a lot of sun, so that's where they're going to be, back here. And I'm going to keep them on my deck because I can easily access them and water them and just make sure there's nothing, trying to mess with them. Some birds or squirrels or bugs even. And I did put the labels back in there so I know who is who and how to take care of them exactly. So until they start actually growing a vegetable, I wanted to make sure I knew where each plant was. And I'm very excited to grow some vegetables. We eat a lot of tomatoes and a lot of bell pepper. And then here's just a little before refresher of the front before I show y'all the after. Here's how it looks. I got that nobody here but us chickens from my backyard, and I just brought it to the front, and it looks so much better. It's so much more clean, and just, way more appealing to the eyes. I cannot wait to paint my steps. That's probably going to be the next thing. But so far, I'm satisfied with all the work that I've put into our landscaping. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I hope y'all have a great weekend.